I've got a really great free zone success story today, and it's Jose Barrios. He tells a terrific story. So he he's an immigrant to the United States, came with his family from El Salvador for political reasons, and came to the United States, and he, worked real hard. Everybody worked real hard. They created a janitorial company, Washington D.C., and then he got into coach, and he uh, kind of felt at home. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my experience. I've had, over the years, I've probably had 30, 40 entrepreneurs who came the same path as Jose did. They came from different countries, and oftentimes came with not very much, and they had to leave a lot behind, and uh, and I always talked to them. I said, you had the immigrant advantage. Then when I talked to them, I said, you it's almost not fair. I said, you came and you had this huge advantage that native born Americans didn't have. And they always are shocked. And I say, what advantage did I have? And I said, you got to leave everything behind. Your life could only be about the future. A lot of native born entrepreneurs, they have to deal with a past that's bigger than their future. I know people who, are entrepreneurs, and they're the fourth generation of a really wealthy, rich family. Can you imagine the handicaps that someone like that has, where you came and you didn't have the handicap of wealth and the expectations of that? I mean, you just got a completely clean start. I mean, Jose, this is, if I'm talking to Jose, I said, this is just an absolutely clean start. I mean, you're so lightweight compared to them. And I got thinking about that because it's been there for the full 30 years since we've had the program. And I said, the best way for entrepreneurs to think about themselves is that they're immigrants. Okay. And say, for example, there's a little test, it's just a thinking test that I've done over the years. I said, if you were kidnapped tonight, men in black, came and kidnapped you, and they helicoptered you to some strange city, and they plopped you down tomorrow, and you didn't know where you were, and you didn't have anything except the clothes on your back. Uh, how long would it take you to reproduce everything you've already succeeded as an entrepreneur? Starting from nothing again, how long would it take? And they sit there and they say, huh, 3 years. 3 years. I said, how long did it take you to do it the first time? And they said, 20 years. Well, why can you do it in 3 years? He says, knowledge, capability, confidence. I know exactly. And your tools, I got your tools, the strategic coach tools, the DOS question. I just go, as long as I had enough money to go to a bar, I bet I'd walk out of the bar with a new client. And so think about that. That the fact is that you're as strange to most people in your life as a new immigrant would be strange to them. Okay, because you're odd. You're kind of weird, actually. Entrepreneurs are kind of weird. So the story that Jose talks about here is kind of different because it's from one location on the planet to another location on the planet. But you've traveled the same distance as an immigrant from who you grew up with, what everybody did, where you grew up. And I mean, you're an immigrant. You made a shift. So the big thing here is Jose and his family, they were forced to leave everything behind. But why don't you just choose what you want to leave behind and approach it that you're actually an immigrant in every new situation? Be a new immigrant every 90 days, and just live with that for the rest of your life. So you always have to create new things. So in that way, your future, your whole life always lies in building a future that's always getting bigger than your past. So I just want to thank Jose, one, for what he's achieved, and I think like from the Indiana Jones movie, I think Jose and his family chose wisely, but there's a lot more to his story than just the success he's talking about. There's a real lesson for all entrepreneurs: is throughout your entire entrepreneurial life, think like an immigrant.
My name is Jose Barrios, and I am the owner of Clean Solution Services. And we are a janitorial and maintenance company based out of Portland, Oregon, but we also have a presence in Northern Virginia, which is the Washington, D.C. area. I've been in coach a little bit over 2 years, but I definitely feel like this has been a lifelong pursuit to find my new home in strategic coach. So I feel like it's been forever. I think part of being an entrepreneur is that it's something that you're born with. Either you have it or you don't. While it is a big source of inspiration and motivation to see things differently and to take action on it and kind of take responsibility for your own future, it does have its challenges. Partly because you don't tend to fit in everywhere you go. And I came to this country as a political refugee when I was 4 years old, and the process of assimilation has always been something that's important or that I pay attention to in myself and in other people. And I realized at a pretty young age that I just didn't quite fit in, and I always thought it was more maybe I wasn't smart enough. Like the other students are getting good grades, or maybe it was my cultural background that I had. I spoke a different language at home and slightly different values, and I thought that that was the problems that I was having not fitting in, where it had to do more with cultural or educational things. And it wasn't until I found coach that I realized that it really wasn't my cultural background or my language background. It was really just more this entrepreneurial drive that I had and way of looking at things. And then when I found coach, and the concepts are just so elegantly simple, and I'm able to take those in and really apply them. And as I apply them, I start attracting a certain type of people or energy, or evolve the relationships I am by kind of injecting this with entrepreneurial mindsets to it. Um, so it's a double-edged sword having this entrepreneurial mindset when you don't have the right tools and framework to know that it's okay and that it's actually to my advantage. I've kind of found that my driver, my passion, is working with other entrepreneurial type people. Um, so yeah, and I also have kind of like an armchair quarterback mentality, where I just kind of sit back in my armchair here and I kind of make the moves, and I try to be behind the scenes as much as possible. And then in the process of trying to figure out what is it that I'm good at, where's my passion at, I realized that working with my vendors and other entrepreneurs were actually what I love doing, and just kind of coming together as entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial minded people coming together, I think is great. The thing that I was yearning for and I just didn't have was like I wanted to be a good leader. Like that, it was really important to me, in a very pragmatic way, that I knew if I wanted to achieve my goals, that I had to assemble a team to make it happen. But also from a little bit more of an emotional standpoint, is that I wanted to be able to perform and provide for my team, and hard work and tenacity weren't enough for that. And I needed more. And I just didn't know where to get it, where you would get a little bit of information here, like you get this idea there, and then it's just like, okay. And then you get like a book that's like 500 pages or something. And that's just like, okay, what do I do with this with all the other aspects of my life? What I got the most out of coach was just how to have a framework or work within a framework that actually gives me the tools to be a good leader. And then I realized that to be a good leader, and the same thing with coach, that this isn't about me, it's about the team and the collaborations that I can get out of it when we're all collaborating and we're all feeling fulfilled in the work that we're doing. And that was a real big eye opener for me, that coming in the first day of the workshop and going, oh, this is not about me. I was like, this is about everybody else. Um, and in that process of serving other people, then I discover myself, and then I get the things that I want. So it's a very a unique balance that you have to do, that you find yourself there, and the tools and the framework just provide that for you. I mean, it leads you and it guides you there. And you take in the information and you process it and you apply it however it serves you, and then it just, the magic starts to unfold, and it keeps growing and it just keeps getting better. Nobody liked doing the weekly meeting, and it was just something that we were just kind of dragging along, and it just never felt right, and people came with bad attitudes, and then it just seemed like it just never got anywhere, and it was just not a good experience. And then with coach and talking about the mindsets and the all the tools that we use, it's in our company meetings, it just totally transformed that. People are looking forward to it. They show up on time. When they can't make it, you can tell they feel like they're missing out on something, and it's not like an excuse. Oh, I don't have to come. They really try to put a lot of effort to come into it, and it's just so neat to be able to like share that energy together as one unit, comprised of different team members. And that's just changed. I mean, it's just so great to be able to come into a meeting at work and people actually want to be there. It's a small indicator for me that I am being a good leader, and that things are improving, and that I'm definitely in the right place with strategic coach. So the meeting is pretty much like the title of the meetings are strategic coach. That's just what we do, is strategic coach, and we pretty much do it the positive focus. The best way I can explain the positive focus is kind of like what it does. Like I always say, it's a tool and a mindset that creates an inertia for a positive experience to continue to happen or to start to happen. And the more we collaborate around this inertia, the stronger and more powerful it gets. And then we start realizing that this inertia is all around us. It's just a matter of how we're looking at the situation. So it's and it just keeps it just and it's not it builds on itself, so whatever feels good now, and with that inertia, just gets more and more powerful. And it's in that and really it starts to translate in morale, but it also starts to translate just kind of in numbers, better sales, better profits, more free time, all those things kind of go into this positive focus that we talk about. It's also like their positive energy like just bombards my energy with my mind, with like all kinds of thoughts and ideas, and things evolve, and then they grow off each other, and build off each other. So it's really cool to be able to do that. And then so we have no shortage of things to talk about, and it's open for personal or professional. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. It's your time. It's your space. And then we just try to talk about mindsets that we can apply to those situations, and to maximize what we're getting out of it, these experiences. One of the things that strategic coach has done for me that I didn't expect that it was going to do was this idea of building my confidence. And and when I heard Dan speaking a lot of it, I was like, it's like he's put a lot of energy and time into this whole idea of being confident. And I started realizing like I didn't quite have all the confidence that I needed. And I was just like, I was considering myself a strong, I can do anything, I can work hard, and just like I can do it. It just put, if I set my mind to it, I can accomplish everything. Um, but then I realized I kind of lacked a little bit of confidence, and it's a barrier until you realize that you have to protect your confidence. Um, is because I think that the shield that you put up when you don't have the proper confidence is that I can do anything. You tell yourself that, and that serves you really well when you're younger, and it kind of proves to you that you can accomplish a lot. But then it starts bringing you down. It's literally what helped you get to where you are success wise actually becomes a barrier. And then that's when the collaboration and the teamwork starts to really start to play. And you're like, for me to make that next step move, is amazing. And when I was first reading one of the first books I got from Street to Coach, it talked about an idea of the rugged individualist. And I'm like going, what the, I was like, this is me. I was like, this is me. And then I realized, what have I invested in my education? You know, and what have I done to go seek out better information that didn't involve a laptop or a book or a magazine? I was like, and those are great tools, but it's what it lacks is the intimacy of a relationship, because you can't, again, collaborate and build on each other's inertia. You're not going to get that, and that's what I didn't understand that prior to this. So I was always looking for the answers within my brain, and realizing that there's an endless amount of potential in the universe, and that I just need to go look at it and recognize that it's there, and then go after it, and take, and it's always changing. It's never, it's not a static process. So I found that I'm trying to teach more people about these mindsets, in particular the contractors that work for us. It's just like I'm trying to, and it's like the same thing that Coach has done for me. I want to be able to do that a little bit for them, and and now that I have more confidence and I'm able to actually provide value to them, I've just kind of changed how I do everything. And it's like everywhere I go, everybody I talk to, I try to create some kind of value for them. And in doing that, it kind of positions me as a leader in whatever it is that we're working on. And then I realized that it motivates people. Not that I'm a motivator, it's just more like these mindsets just have that ability to do that to the people around you. Um, so now, since I'm realizing that, I'm kind of like rebranding our business to show like we're more than a service provider. Like, we're actually in the business of building relationships, and even in an industry like cleaning, you can actually develop really good relationships. So when our customers really understand where the cleaners are coming from, and particularly when they're entrepreneurial minded people, like, the quality of the experience that they receive from our services is so much better. So then I was like, okay, well, this is, I need to focus on a way to empower my contractors for them to be successful entrepreneurs. And the byproduct of that is happy customers. So create value for these entrepreneurs that aren't being noticed. And then my customers experience a better quality of service. And I'm like, whoa, this is great. I can honor what it is that's important to me, but also make money by keeping our customers happy. And it's a win-win situation. So now my focus is like, how do I build these smaller businesses, or how do I mentor? How do I help? How do I create value for these people that one day hopefully will be my competitors, and maybe I'll be working for them one day? And you know what? I have no problems with that.